Telegram app. Now we have so many options to earn. Why we are going only traditionally way of happiness, like getting a government job, be happy. Yeah, we all know about the government clerk's life. I don't know who's watched the recently released web series named Aspirant. See, the main concept of aspirant is like you have to make your plan B. See, life is uncertain. You don't know what's next. You have to plan. You have to make a plan B and work with them. See, every year 80% of the entrepreneurs have left their idea or business because and only 20% may go with their plan B because of all of them thinking like I will succeed with my plan A and they left their business. So that's all. Thank you guys. Friends, my name is Lula. See, the main concept of
Very much,
aspirant is
Mr.
like
Gulab. I would like to now call upon speaker 3 from Team 1, Team Titans, Ritika, to counter Gulab's argument.
A very good evening, one and all present here. I'm Ritika, and I'm completely against the idea that decisiveness can ever be a disadvantage. Hope you all people out there are healthy and doing well in this pandemic situation. But despite of all, just imagine you're feeling your throat a bit sore since last night and a slight headache since today's very morning. Now you are left with many options to go ahead with. You can try to cure oneself with home remedies, thinking yourself being a citizen of ideal Atmanirbhar Bharat, which definitely would not be. Okay, jokes apart. You can wait for more symptoms of coronavirus disease to occur. But at the same time, you can choose to contact your nearest healthcare station and get yourself checked for COVID-19. Thus, possessing an ideal, decisive person and and protecting your loved ones who stays nearby you and many more. In today's fast-paced world, the ability to make the good decision at the accurate time is what separates from being the leader and working for the leader. Great athletes, soldiers, politics, great and many more like video game players needs to make decisive actions. They don't have enough time to process all the information. They have to act very quickly. But in today's digital world, there is always a tendency out there that there is always more information out there before making any decision. But at a certain point, you have to stop processing information and make the decision without being afraid of its outcomes and consequences. After all, it's better to be boldly decisive and risk being wrong than to agonize at length and be right too late. And good decisions come from experience, and experiences comes from bad decisions. So tell me, answer me one more question. Is your attitude same as a lobster left high and dry among the rock who does not have the sense enough to work his way back to the sea, but waits for the sea to come to him? If it does not come, he waits where he is, remains where he is, and dies. Are you among them? The world is full of human lobsters. People stands on the rocks of indecision and procrastination, thinking who instead of putting forth on their own energies are waiting for some grand willow of good fortune to set them afloat. For which I remember a quote by Theodore Roosevelt that in any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing, and the worst thing you can do is the nothing. So, just left with the bare minutes on my hands, I want to conclude it that decisiveness does help us to reduce anxiety and become us more productive. And be bold, be decisive. Thank you so much for your kind attention from my speech. Thank you so much.
you very much, Rungta. That was just in time. So now I would like to give the judges a couple of minutes to finalize the scores. Again, to the both of you, may the best speaker win. In the meantime, I would like to talk a little bit about our next topic. Has music degraded over time? Now, if you are an avid fan of music like me, then personally, my views are a bit mixed on this. I've been a fan of various old musicians and various new musicians as well. One of my favorite musicians is the band AC/DC. I don't know if you've heard of them, and recently Linkin Park as well. Without wasting any much of your time, I think it's time to move forward and call speaker 4 from team 2, Sanjana. Sanjana, are you
Am I
here?
visible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Sanjana.
Okay, so let me start.
Yeah, you can start anytime.
Okay. Okay, I'm starting. Me as a kid, जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना. Today's kid, बीता हूँ अपने किसी के बाप की नहीं. I know you guys are thinking what she is doing. Just giving you the glimpse of my topic that has music degraded over time. Yes or no? Mostly yes. I do think that to some extent the quality of music has gone down. To some so-called artists, making music is strictly a revenue resource. I want to share a little story of mine with you. So hello everyone, I'm Sanjana Sahu, pursuing BTech with computer science. And being a computer science student, I'm involved in coding. One day, I was making a program and got stuck with some error that was not being solved after all my Googling skills. It's driving me nuts. So I decided to listen to some new song that make me feel relaxed and my mind refreshed. On that day, for the first time, I listened to the music of Tony Kakkar. While I was listening to his music, at a moment I thought my internet connection was poor or there might be some problem. That's why it's repeating a similar word like puri to chocolate, hai, late, hai, late, hai, late, hai, late, hai. It's irritating. But then I realized that no, actually he is using a nested for loop in his music. That's why it's printing 4 times shuna, mein, shuna, shuna, and it's really not my mind, the relaxed hona. Music used to be fascinating, used to be meaningful about love, war, happy, sad. But nowadays, it's about who can get more recording contracts. And also, the old songs are being purchased by people, adding some hints to it, recycle it, and serving to us. And the new ones are about partying, drinking, sex, drugs, alcohol. And I don't think that it's depend on the time or era that we live in. Yes, it's definitely worse. And then there are some platforms allowing all this type of new absurd song in it. Actually, I don't think that all these new crappy songs are the reason why Mibba and Mibbi exist. Yes, at the age of being happy, studying, playing, children had a mental pressure that if their partner would leave them, how could be they survive? And then smoking, drinking, all vague khayali thinking, they are making videos on TikTok that मैं जो जी रहा हूँ वजह तुम हो, and they mean it. Now, who will going to explain these kids that damn, why you are leaving, why you're surviving in such a pandemic is not because of your shona, but it's because of oxygen ka hona. Yes, there are plenty of good artists who produce good music, but today most of the music consists of the word that the youth should avoid. Because children are adopting what they are listening. So I conclude that we should avoid promoting this. Be happy, be safe, because यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना. Over to you, Toastmasters Harshpreet.
Thank you very much, Sanjana, for that great speech. I'm kind of sad
Amazing.
to see that it is under the time limit. I'm quite sad to see that most of the participants are making better jokes than me. Well, in any case, let's move on. Our next speaker, Speaker number 4 from Team 1, Dolly, Team Titans. I'd like to invite you over to speak.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Dolly. Just give me a second.
May I start my speech?
Give me 1 second. All right, yes, you can start whenever you're ready.
I am Dolly, and good evening to all of you present here. And I am Dolly. I am here to present my views against the music had degraded over time. I am completely against this topic because the what is often forgotten is known as old. The music had not getting forgotten. It can be remembered over time to time, and it was still good enough to relevant that from past year, decades, and century. The music of past is romanticized that was only remembered as the old music because it was good enough to still exist today. 21st century. We live in a 21st century. What was then is not, but what was now is the exist today. We all live in the world of evolution. The music was not degraded over time, but it was getting something better for new generation. We have to learn to for accept. We have to learn, accept, or love. We have no. The music today was only come from. The music today has only come from the music before, because without the music before, the music was not today. Rocks, I think that the music affected inside the parts of our body, which I like to call industry. To solve, artists making music is a strictly revenue source. Those artists whose music is written and composed by desk jockey and auto-tune with no regard is known as a good singer. I do not think the music of degradation is dependent on era of time. It was this, but rather how deep commercialization has pretended over time. Rock singers never go to where they were thought to be a good singer. They go to where they were being destructive. It is absolutely that mainstream music has deteriorated due to a lot of people. They can neither write song or sing. But I don't believe that particularly means that music gets worse in a different direction. If you want to listen a good music, you have need an incredible potential to listen a thousands bands of music by the internet. You will thankful to internet to listen a bands of music, but never ever dreamed to hear of. Music has also gotten more diverse than it ever was. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dolly, for that great speech. Now, I would like to give the judges a few minutes or 12 minutes to again finalize their results. So, with this, we conclude the first round, the first match between the team Titans and the team Jawbreakers for today. Now, before we move on to the second round of today, the second matchup between Team Punch and Team Urbanics, I'd like to call upon a very special member of our team, special friend, in fact, the man named Nikhil Maurya. Nikhil, where are you, my buddy?
Okay.
Are you here?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Nikhil, you are audible.
And I can
Just a
start.
second to make sure. Give me just a second to make sure that you listen to everybody. All right. Nikhil, you can start whenever you feel ready. Nikhil is a very good friend of mine today with us. He will be giving his views, his idea on self-discipline. Am I right, Nikhil?
Yes. So now I'm starting. Self-discipline is a magical power that makes you virtually unstoppable, says Dan Kennedy. Today, I will be debating on the topic. I will be expressing my views on the topic: is self-discipline underrated? To which I personally disagree. When you think of self-discipline, you are probably envisioning restraint, deprivation, but it is as simple as eating food. We all know the value of self-discipline in our life as it is key to achieve anything. And when I say anything, I mean it. We are having too many examples around us, which are more than enough to prove self-discipline is not underrated. Let's take student for example. We all know for becoming an ideal student, we need to follow self-discipline. Have you ever watched any interview of JEE, GATE, or any NEET topper? There you will find that they used to value self-discipline and avoid any unnecessary temptation. They will always say that practicing self-discipline is hard in beginning, but ultimately it will lead you to your goals, and it's the only way to crack any competitive exam. And now, for our second example, we have our heroes, the Great Indian Army, which depicts how we are giving value to self-discipline in today's time. As you all know about Army, they value self-discipline and they perfectly schedule their tasks and complete it without any mess. And you can see as a result, they are mentally and physically strong, reliable, and they have a unique personality. And now, for our third example, we are having our ancient scriptures, which clearly mentions the importance of self-discipline, which proves that from ancient time, mankind used to emphasize on self-discipline. And for reference, I will use Bhagavad Gita here. When you will go through chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, in Karma Yoga section, you will find multiple slokas. And one of them goes like, Yukta ahara vicharasya yukta chestaya karmasu yukta swapna vabodhasya yogo bhavati dukhaha, which precisely translates to the one who regulates his habit of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can meditate from all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Thereby, I conclude my words that no, self-discipline is not underrated and it might prove to be a chosen one for you. Who knows? Thank you for listening me. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thanks a lot, Nikhil. Thanks a lot, Nikhil, for that great speech. I want the judges to score Nikhil as a standalone member because we had a little bit of issues with the members. Nikhil had to speak as a standalone. Now, I would like to move along without wasting much time because we are already short on time. I'd like to move to our next matchup, Team Kunch versus Team Urbanix. The first topic for the teams is, has social media impacted human communication? The impact of social media on human communication. Has it bettered it? Has it caused harm to human communication in general? I won't tell you, but our speakers today will give their views on it. I would like to call upon the speaker one from Team Kunch, Aditya. Are you here, Aditya?
Unfortunately, Aditya has not joined the meeting, so I think we need to take this forward.
All right, so it's very sad to know that Aditya hasn't been able to join the meeting. As such, I would like to call upon the first speaker from Team Urbanix to speak on the same topic. Mayank, it's your turn.
Please give me a go ahead if I am visible and audible.
Yes, you are.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Mayank, you're good to go anytime you want.
Okay. I'll just move forward. Jay Beer, founder and CEO of Convince and Convert, once said, focus on how to be social and not how to do social. This is what most of us fail to understand. Social media, whose purpose was to improve human communication, is failing miserably to do so. Contradictory? Yes, it might seem so. So let's think on what I say for the next 2 minutes. Each of us know what emojis are, right? I'll just tell you what happened yesterday. I was having a chat with a friend of mine and committed the biggest of sins. I did not send a laughing emoji on a sarcastic comment which I made. And as a result, I have been scene zoned ever since. This is the problem with social media. People misunderstand. We can send text messages and audios, but not human emotions, feelings, and intentions. With the onset of social media, a new term, social media justice, has come into existence. Now, how many of you remember the name Manav Singh? Manav Singh, a 17-year-old boy who was alleged to have raped his friend. The allegations were via a social media story. Within hours, the boy was receiving threat calls and whatnot. He committed suicide. Investigations later on revealed that the boy was innocent and the story was just a social media stunt. This is not the only example we have. Most of us have heard about the locker room incident and how things unfolded. But was the reality as it was shown on those Instagram stories? No. The problem with social media and us is that we simply believe what we see. Long gone are the times when we used to watch Sherlock Holmes and Byomkesh Bakshi and had an investigating mindset. All thanks to our beloved social media. These are not barren words which I'm speaking. These are a few of the actual incidents which are happening all over the world in large numbers. Social media is becoming a cause of depression and anxiety among youngsters just because they can't keep up with their peers and several other reasons which as students are very well aware of. A Lancet study on psychiatry found that people who are on Facebook late at night are most likely to be diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety. Another study conducted by the University of Pennsylvania in the year 2018 found that the less time a person spends on social media, the less symptoms of anxiety and depression are seen. The speech made by me, or better, the facts stated by me, seem to be enough to put light on the thought. And if not, you can always put up an Instagram story and ask the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was very much indeed a great speech. I sometimes, I agree with you. These are moments where I agree with you. So all I would like to say to everybody, once this pandemic is over, let us all get together, have a face-to-face chat, and meet in front of 221 Baker Street. Now, with that, I believe the judges will have some time to finalize their scores. Meanwhile, I shall talk about our next topic, which is, does your company define you? Do the people you have in your friend circle, are your friends what make you? Do they affect your personality? Coming up next to share their views on the topic is speaker number 2 from Team Kunj, Sarvagya.
Hello.
All right, Sarvagya, you are visible. You are audible as well. You can start anytime you wish to. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. So, a man is known by the company he keeps. A man's character is made up of 5 closest personal. If you want to know what kind of a person he is, just look around by which people he hang out with. Remember, son, a thief associate with a thief and a saint with a saint. Remember, righteousness cannot have a fellowship with unrighteousness, isn't it? The words heard from thousands of years of the human history, the ultimate lie and the ultimate myth, going from ages and small things making so-called rule of the society. So good evening, people. I, Siddharth Raichan, completely disregard this line, and I give you reason why. Your company doesn't define you. Do you know the famous words were first spoken by Aesop of Delphi? He was a Greek fabulist and a remarkable storyteller, created with the numerous of fables. Scattered details of his life can be found in the ancient sources of Herodotus, Aristotle, and Plutarch. Now, so all of us who has hated history, try to feel my words. We are following a man's word for almost 1200 years who wrote stories, tales, for children. His tales were characterized while animals, inanimate objects who try to solve questions and save people from demons and catch thieves. Basically, he was a creator of the Scooby-Doo of the ancient time. Now, clearly, you can see the irony. Now, let me make my point by some example. We Indian love examples. Let's have a historical angle. Hitler's childhood friend, August Kubizek, who was a great learned man considered and a great artist, never ever supported his friend fanatical ideas. But after his death, also wrote about the young Hitler. Now, let's have the reality check. Think. It's not important. It's not important. So let me tell about you. Affects our school, colleges, employment, even our relationships. Dude, I like Anushka. Bro, you gone mad or what? Have you seen her friends, her circle? They are all South Bombay kids. No way they're gonna like you. No way they're gonna accept you. So now it's just not a small problem. These small problems sparks a fire to cause social injustice and a malice. I could give you 100 of examples, such like Hitler's. His friend is a very good person, and he's not. Just like every example I can give you from the theological point of view. Jesus had a followers. Judas was a backstabbing person. Does that make Jesus that kind of a person? Muhammad had a friend named Abu Sufyan, who was his father-in-law and a childhood friend. He hated Muhammad when he became the prophet of the religion. Are you getting my point? That make Muhammad, may peace upon him, a bad person? No. The company doesn't define you. It's a lie and a myth created a social unequal. Thank you so much, people.
Thank you very much, Sarvagi. That was a great speech. I would like to now call upon the next member, the second member from Team Urbanics, Sudarshan, to give their views on the topic.
Yeah, I am audible and visible.
Yes, Sudarshan, you may start.
So let's get to the topic. For many years, I believed that the how much intelligent and smart I am will conclude my success. But I was wrong. For many tough times, my friends stood up with me and fight together. The distance doesn't matter. They are just a phone call away. And so there is a quote that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the time most with. We say is the American entrepreneur and a motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, and which is surely accurate because the person, if keeping around the person who do good and being good, will surely uphold our social value, and which is accurate enough, in this modern era. The most of us seek a true company, which can only be found through the people who will uplift our productivity. Good influences in a person's life is akin to the watering a plant for its growth and overall embellishment. There are researchers in the late 90s found Michelangelo effect. This is an effect which proves that when we are grouped together with the people that sees us as a person we would like to become, then these relations will have a positive influence on us, and it will help us become our ideal self. Our friendship enriches our quality in life by becoming our physical and mental support system. They will cope up our sorrows and will celebrate our victories as well. A smart companion full of enthusiasm and generosity encourages us to bring changes in our lifestyle, which in return embellishes our personality and skills in a positive way. It can easily be seen in a person's day-to-day life how love and support coming from their social network will send a good belongingness to their life. Henceforth, I would like to conclude with the words of a great philosopher Seneca that building up a good company is a rough road that leads to the heights of the greatness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darshan. That was great. Now, in the time I just finalize this course for speaker, I would like to talk a little bit about the next topic. Is nuclear energy safe? As kids, every kid wants to be a superhero, right? Sometime or the other, you must have thought about the superpower you wanted. I was a bit of a nerd. You know what superpower I wanted? I wanted the power to be able to control atoms. Why? It's the best power in the world. You can do anything. I can be Iron Man without the suit because I can control energy. I can basically bend the laws of nature to my will. I made myself a name. I made myself a name for me, and I was called a nucleon. I know, it's a bit cringy, isn't it? Let's move forward and call the third speaker from Team Urbanics, actually, switching it up right now. Neeraj Nishad to give his views on the topic, is nuclear energy safe?
Well, thanks a lot, Archpreet. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Just give me a second to make sure you're visible.
Sure.
You may continue anytime you want.
Before starting the speech, I would like to take a moment to bring into cognizance of President of Toastmasters Rungta, Syed. We all have, like, we commit mistakes, that's all right, but we all have somehow undeliberately spoken our names, which transcended the rules of Toastmaster committee. A presenter is there who introduces us. So now can I begin?
You're good.
Hello. So, good evening, venerable teachers and my dear friends. Today, I sit before you. Sorry for the bad, lame pandemic jokes. I sit before you to speak on the topic, nuclear energy is safe. Yes, it is. I totally support this frame. I totally support this logic. Now, what comes into your mind when you hear the word nuclear? Mushroom, big mushroom clouds, stacks of radioactivity. I wouldn't blame you. Even I would assume the same. I would imagine the same. Now, how if I ask you a question, would you be worried if a nuclear reactor power plant is gonna be set up in your hometown? I would be, definitely, and so would be you. Now, I want you people to switch back into the history. Why it has been like this, that nuclear power is not seen as a source of energy, or rather a pure source of energy, but a source of fear for many people. First things first, when nuclear energy was introduced, it was introduced as a substitute to fossil fuels, which generated a lot of pollution that caused a lot of deaths. Environmentalists claimed, and rather they believed and respected the thought of nuclear energy, that it's going to save the world. It's going to be the one. Now, what happened to people after that? How environmentalists couldn't provoke people to learn that it is good or it is safe for them. What happened was, there happened a series of disasters and disasters and disasters. What happened? Like the recent one, Fukushima disaster. Then again, if we go back, Chernobyl, or rather Chernobyl, UK pronunciation. Chernobyl and Fukushima and 3 Mile Island, these disasters have led people to believe that they are dangerous. But let me bring in the very unknown fact that nuclear disasters, or rather nuclear disasters, are very, very rare. They create fossil fuel power plants, rather are more deadly than nuclear power plants. Now, to support my argument, I put this fact. A UK study showed that around 9,000 people die every year of fossil fuel power plants and CO2 emissions. Can you imagine? 9,000 people die every year. And again, the amount of people, or rather the number of people that died in Chernobyl, which was a big disaster, is mere 4,000, which is the official data, many would argue, but it is. So, if we take into relative term, nuclear energy is safe. Now, what we have to do, or what we could do to cope up with such myths, or rather fear or hatred towards nuclear energy? So we can make our decisions based on the facts and information. Now, in the rundown of my speech, I would like to conclude, and hear me very clearly. Nuclear energy is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious form of energy, and I cannot put it straight. Sink that in. May the nuclear power with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that speech. And as you said, may the nuclear power be with you. Now, I would like to call upon the speaker from EP, who also happens to be the leader of Team Kunj, Toastmaster Deepika, who to express her views on the topic.
I hope I'm audible and clearly visible. Can I get
You
any
ready to
indication?
start any moment you wish. You're ready to any moment.
26th April 1986. A sudden power surge in the regular maintenance hour of the reactor resulted in an extreme explosion. As a result, the entire Unit 4 was devastated. Chernobyl still remains an abandoned place, and Patriarchy, which was the nearest town from the place, is now declared as a ghost town because many people were forced to relocate from that place. Fukushima Daiichi is rated 7 on the international scale of nuclear events because of the massive radiations which resulted after the event. 70 to 80 tons of nuclear waste was disposed in Mayak region of Ukraine, and still now hundreds and hundreds of cancer patients are reported in the country because of the event which happened over the past. History have screamed upon us that nuclear power is something which is not something on which we play around. Tick for tat has been the nature policy every time human beings have tried to ruin the structure of the environment. In the name of national security, 15,000 weapons are being stored up in the state in the piles. As a result, a single trick and the energy which will evolve from the mishap has the power to destroy the universe. My dear people, let me tell you, the world itself fears from the power of nuclear energy. And this is the reason many bilateral treaties are signed between nations to make sure that these things do not happen. But let me ask you, with the exponential increase in intercontinental hatred, does a sheet of paper proves that another Chernobyl, another SL4, another Fukushima Daiichi will not happen? A single protest, a single hatred, a single changes in people's thought, then millions of nuclear weapons are being posted. And who suffers? The masses and the children. My dear people, history have always screamed upon us that these things are something which is irreversible, and we humans have to understand it. And if we unhear what the survivors say, what the fears in their eyes prove about the disaster, what the death reports came out from the older mishaps and the analysis related to it, then it is our fault. And who knows, the next patriarchy will be near to your city. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you, Ashpreet. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters. That was a very great speech. May the best speaker win. As I give the judges some time to finalize their results, I would like to just add a little bit of thing. I like, it's a dream of mine to travel around the world. One place at the very top of my bucket list is actually Pripyat. I want to see how the village looks like right now after all those years. Basically, I just want to see if there are any butterflies with 6 wings or deers with 5 legs, nothing else. Moving on, our last topic for the day is industry solely responsible for climate change? To express their views on the topic, I would like to call upon the 4th speaker of Team Urban X, Nishtha.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Nishtha.
Okay. So due to industrialization, climatic change is increasingly poses one of the biggest long-term threats to investment, said by Christina Fergus, Secretary of UNFCCC. A very good evening to one and all. Today I will talk about industry solely responsible for climate change. Well, I totally agree with it and I will try to justify my opinion. I admit that industrialization have always been seen to key to wealth and a better living. But in reality, although it's lead to a better living in certain respect, it affects the environment. Climate change is a global problem, and in fact, each and every second, 310 kgs of toxic are released into air, water, and land by these industrial factories around the world. This is approximately 10 million tons of chemicals released into our environment by these industries every year. The planet is warming because of the growing greenhouse gas emission causing from industries causing global warming. In 2013, the IPCC reported that the interval between 1880 and 2012 saw the increase of global surface average temperature is approximately 0.9 degrees Celsius. This is very much closer to 1.1 degrees Celsius when measured to pre-industrial mean temperature. So, in our recent research, we found that the Arctic is warming much faster than any other area of the planet. This warming of Arctic caused decline in polar cord rate reproduction rate, and also they are in threat not only by warming Arctic Sea but also by oil pollution causing by industry. So till now we know that industries are the major cause of pollution of whether it's land, water, and air, and also it's leading to illness and threat to human health. So this pollution is a mixture of different type of gases and component that is very harmful for humans, animals, and even some species of birds are even extinct because of this pollution. Even a long or a short-term exposure to industrial air pollution can cause health issues like cardiovascular diseases, respiratory issues, headache, coughing, sneezing, asthma, etc. So we come to a conclusion that industry pollution is not the problem of a particular country, but the whole world is responsible for causing and suffering from the harmful effect of pollution. And therefore, all the countries should come together and find a solution to control this industrial pollution. Thank you and happy Environmental Day to all.
Thank you very much for the great speech. Now I would like to call upon the fourth on the thing.
Am I audible to you all and visible?
Yes, sir, you are. You can start anytime you wish to.
What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests. I, Harsh Sharma, a pharmacy aspirant, stands in front of you all to speak against the topic. Is industry solely responsible for climate change? No, industry is not solely responsible for climate change. Climate change is a major concern all over the world. And do you know human activity is the main cause of climate change? Yes, you heard it right. Human activities like deforestation, burning fossil fuels, improper agriculture practices, overuse of fertilizers, improper use of transportation system, etc. contribute to nearly 24 to 25% of total climate change. But the question is, how does it affect? Deforestation, burning of fossil fuels, and other human activities releases a large amount of carbon dioxide in the environment, which is a greenhouse gas, which traps heat and causes climate change. The other sources for these greenhouse gases can be the plastic disposed openly in the environment. These plastic, when exposed to sunlight, it traps heat and starts to break down, releasing methane and ethylene, which are other major greenhouse gases. The study has been conducted which shows that the total warming effect due to greenhouse gases added by humans in the environment was increased by 45% from 1990 to 2019. And another study states that the total Earth was warmer by 1.2 degrees Celsius from January to October in 2020. This was the second highest warm recorded when compared to similar period in time in historical data. Climate change can worsen the places, making it difficult for life forms to survive. It's high time that you and all should come together and deal with this problem Earth is facing right now. We do not inherit the Earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our future generation. Our children and future generation will judge us harshly if we fail to uphold our moral and historical responsibilities. Mr. Barack Obama has rightly said, we are the first generation who can feel the climate change, and we will be the last generation who can do something about it. The small efforts we would make, like disposing plastics properly, avoiding water wastage, and proper agriculture practices, and proper use of transportation system, and a healthy environment, clean environment, if we would make, it can make a big difference. Thus, I will halt my words with the phrase I started with. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harsh. With that, we come to the end of today's speakers. I would like to congratulate everybody who had a chance to come on the podium to speak. Now, we would, since Aditya was not here, it was a very sad thing, but I would like to ask Toastmaster Deepika if we are, is Manish ready to give his speech?
Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Hello?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. And start anytime.
Good evening, all. This is important life to maintain a healthy, happy, successful, and purpose life. Disciplines means to follow your daily routine without any mistake. Without it, a person will become lazy, unhappy, and inactive in life. Manage the problem in his life in a sophisticated way. A disciplined person focuses on certain plan and implements in his life. We should always know the value of time and adapt to change in our life. A student, we learn discipline from his teacher and family discipline should be taught from his childhood. They will have a bright future with discipline. A student can wake up, eat food, read book, play and sleep on time. Also, they can learn to respect their elders and difference between good and bad people. In life, a student will respect teacher, go to school every day and concentrate on study. It is difficult to maintain discipline in life, but it is essential for living a successful personal life. Some steps to achieve discipline. Set your goals. Goals give you a clear understanding of your need for achievement, the preparation of a timeline. Draw your closer to you. Goals and is a driving to work hard. To mediation. Mediation channel a person energy in the right plane in adds a person. Better his self-control. Maintain focus and connects them to their inner self. Third, everyday routine check. A self-disciplined person set a daily routine and insist their takes for accomplishment to write your goals and set them up in a timeline and fulfill them according this act betters and person's overall personality. For positivity, many people strive to achieve self-discipline. However, they fail to meet their goals constant negatively and lack of positive act as a burner and is a wrong approach. Thank you.
Finally, actually, to get every single one of today's speakers. It was a very great competition with some great speeches delivered by all of the members. As I previously have stated many times, may the best team and may the best speaker win. Now, I would like to call our judges to give their views on I would like to invite both our judges to give their views on the competition. Over to you, judges. Rabia ma'am, Vandana ma'am, please take it.
Good evening, everyone. Let me tell, first I'll start with congratulating everyone. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Congratulations to everyone. And I'm very happy to be a part of this event. And we have seen such good, talented students with us. And I'm seriously very happy to be a part of this. And I hope you people keep on this good work going. And it will help you in many ways. Not this type of competition, I believe, is not only help you with your language, with your it can help you with your understanding, be a better human, and being like when you connect with other people and you hear their viewpoints and you understand, you become better person. So this kind of competition not only help you with your language, with your speaking skills and all, it also helps you becoming a better person. So congratulations to all of you and all the best. Keep the good work going.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your kind comments, ma'am. Vandana ma'am, I would like you to share your comments as well.
Good evening, everyone. I also wish all of you best of luck, and I really love you all. Were full of enthusiasm, and thank you so much for making me part of today's meeting. It really went good. Everyone had wonderful words to speak out, and I really love the enthusiasm, and everyone tried to give their best. I really love that, and I appreciate applause for that. And just go on with the flow and keep learning and keep the progress. All the best for the results, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vandana ma'am. Now, before we continue ahead, I would like everyone to switch on their camera so we can take a screenshot with everyone, please. Guys, kindly switch on your camera, so just a couple of minutes.
Manish, Ritika, Hamad, Saiba, please turn on your video fast. It's time for a group picture.
Ritika, Mad, Sanjana, guys, please. Just for a minute. Saiba, Manali, I'd like you to join your videos so we can take a group photo. Snapshot that's as close as we can get to a group photo with the current scenario that's going on. I can do that. Don't worry about it. I'm not a tech boomer like you, Salir. Saiba, if you would turn on your video, please.
You can take a picture now.
Is everybody ready? It's time for the snap. Yes, we are done. Thanks a lot for everyone who has been a part of this contest, the participants, the team leaders, the judges, my good friend, the president, Sayyid himself. I would now like to call on the president who is supposed to be my co-host but did none of the hosting. So over to you now, Sayyid. Guys, do that as soon as possible. Go follow Instagram, go follow us on YouTube. All our meetings are live streamed on YouTube as well.
सर कब अपलोड होगा विनर इंस्टाग्राम पे?
Winners will be shared in a few hours on Instagram.
Few hours or 1 hour?
As soon as Sayyed is ready with the results.
You better don't keep us waiting, Sayyed. Yes, I am threatening
Well,
you.
if I know Ian very well, I think we might have to threaten him a little bit more to make sure that he does it in time.
Truly.
Shots fired here. I believe with that we should end today's contest. Once again, a very, very big thank you to everybody who attended the meeting. And wait for tomorrow, where you will find out the two teams who will battle in our second round, the final round, which will be a table topics round, an impromptu session. The topic shall be revealed to you tomorrow. All the best to everyone. Sad luck for anybody.
Is it still live?
Goodbye, everybody.